All right, aloha, aloha. We are live. Are we live? All right, just checking. Leave that little joke out there from last week. Make sure we're live. Aloha, everybody. Derek is still off island. Just hopefully you guys are okay with substitute Kenny for one more day. We're going to get some testimonials today. We've missed that the last week or two, and so we want to make sure that we're paying attention and really lifting each other up as a team. And so we're going to do that a little bit today. We're going to do a little bit of a plug on Molehu. If you are watching the live, I'm assuming you're also checking the channel out. So the most recent video that dropped Sunday is on Molehu, which is in Ho'opili. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. And then we're also going to answer questions. We've got about 4 or 5 questions. Some are multiple part questions, so we're going to get to those as well. It's going to be a quick one today. Team is good and busy, and we want to make sure that we're feeding you guys as well. But this one's going to be pretty bullet point. All right. So we'll get into testimonials first. We're going to start with our agent of the week, Aiden boy. Oh, golf clap, Aiden. This is from Kathy and Joe. Joe and I are really confident with Aiden. He's helping us with the deadlines. He's very detail-oriented and very responsive. He's very professional. Cannot speak of Aiden any higher. We are so greatly appreciative of him. He appears to be professionally unbiased, but yet is looking for the best interest of his client at the same time. That is, in essence, like we could summarize that as our mission for our clients. So thank you to Joe and Kathy. Our next one is Mahe and Aiden. This is from Creighton. Creighton, how's it? I believe Creighton just moved into Koa Ridge, or just finished up with his purchase. He may not have actually moved in yet. Creighton has, for Mahe and Aiden, I think we achieved our goals, and the results show that we're closing exactly on the time that I was looking to close, so it was good. And that is, I believe, as of just last week. So, Creighton, thank you. Appreciate those compliments. And then, shameless plug, humbly saying thank you to Corey. Corey is looking for a townhome condo and planning to stay and invest here longer than originally planned. So he's been on island for a little while, renting, and he's looking to make that move into home ownership. Really appreciate Kenny's patience, not experienced in real estate. So I also thank Derek, who's always been through the whole process. It's always been Kenny, and then Derek's been able to help facilitate things as well. Both of them are in text groups with me. This is, take a quick minute on this. Corey, thank you so much. But know that as a team, being a part of this team and comparing it to teams that I've been on prior to coming into Core Team, this is very, very, very paramount to us. We are able to plug and play with any client at any time. If somebody goes down sick, if somebody's off island for an extended period of time, if I'm unavailable or Derek's unavailable or Aiden or Mahe, we connect and communicate enough in these group chats internally, back channel, and outward towards our clients in a way that we will make sure that you are not regurgitating much, and we're able to plug and play with each other if there's something that needs to be done in a timely manner. So this is a great compliment for our processes, and I appreciate it, Corey. Thank you so much. Sort of going back onto Aiden, who is our agent of this week. Those were a couple of testimonials from the last week or two that we had missed. If you go to our channel and look at the most recently dropped video, you will see Aiden and Mahe out at Molehu. These are homes that are their CPRs, which is condo property regime. Easier way to say that is they are 0 lots, and they will highlight a piece of that in the video that is probably better seen than said. But 0 lot means you have a side yard and a little bit of a backyard, but only on one side of the home. The other side of the home, when a master plan development is being built up, the developer, the builder will take the home, and instead of having it on, if this is your property, right, this rectangle is your property, and this is your home, they can put it on a corner instead of centering it or bringing it to the back. And so if it's on that corner, then you've got to make buddy-buddy with the neighbor, because if you do solar and your equipment, your backup batteries and your shut-offs and stuff like that are on the wall, you're going into your neighbor's front gate, their front side yard, if you will, to switch that stuff off. Or if you need to clean those windows or power wash that side of your home, you need access to your neighbor's front yard. So it's a little bit of a different piece. They just did a new release. They've had some open houses. There is some standing inventory in Molehu. We are in the know. We are very active with Ho'opili. And so want to give, again, just a really shameless plug, and very, very specifically, if Molehu is a home that you're looking into, please reach out to us first. If you would, go down to the bottom of our webpage, coreteamhawaii.com, fill out the Let's Talk contact information, reach out to us first, please. If you reach out to them first and go visit them first, and I say this emphatically because of those open houses, it makes it easier for you to maybe just go check it out. We cannot help you if you go to them first. It changes your situation as far as purchasing goes, and dollar amounts by absolutely zero. They will cooperate with us, and we can represent you rather than being represented by the seller developer. And so we really would like to be able to help you. We have lots of internal information that we can share. So please go down to the bottom of our page, fill out that contact form. We will reach out to you and answer as many questions as we can and meet you at the open houses and walk you through and pick which floor plan works best for you. I will also say that in that video, there is a social media survey question about 2-story with a 2-car garage or 1-story with a 2-car garage. I believe there's also the carport with a single garage where it's enclosed for one, and then a tandem driveway spot. Which one do you like the best? Throw that down in the comments for us. We're continuing that survey, maybe building upon it a little bit. All right. So yes, Molehu. There's also Noho Papa, which is more of the single-family detached homes. Those ones are moving a little bit faster for Ho'opili. Please let us know if you prefer that little bit larger yard, more of a centered home on the lot itself. We definitely can help you with those as well. All right. Let's get into some questions. Like I said, hopefully you guys are keeping up with me, and we're able to maybe catch some comments as we go, but we're really just going to blow through today and get the information out there and answer these questions. First question is a longer question, but they're all very succinct points that are relative to a VA purchase here on island. So Carl, thank you for this 5-part question. I'm going to go through it. Most of it is wrapped around being 100% disabled veteran. Thank you for your service. Sorry to hear that there's a disability there. We cannot thank you enough for your service, and we're happy to pour into making sure that you get all of the benefits out of that disability. Yes, you are exempt from taxes. So the first question is, being 100% disabled, am I 100% exempt from property tax? If not, what percentage is the next piece to this question? Do I need to establish residency in Hawaii before I apply? How long would I need to be a resident in Hawaii? What percentage is the property tax per 100,000 of a loan? So that's part one. The answer is yes, you're exempt, and it's not a percentage. It's not 100%. So there's no zero property tax option here. Once you occupy a primary residence as a 100% disabled veteran, you will file an exemption form. When that exemption form is applied to your property, then it will adjust down to a flat $300 per year. Okay. and it's not a percentage and it's not 100%, but 300 per year is my understanding of 100% VA disabled benefit. Okay. How long does that take? It's really when you purchase a home, part of the property tax has been paid by the seller and part of it will then be paid forward by you, and it's prorated based on the day of the month and where you're at in the two-part tax property tax season. So they're due in February and August. If you're purchasing in October, then it's when the next cycle of payment for property tax comes around is when your exemption will pop in. If you are not 100% VA disabled, just a common person or just a regular VA loan or a conventional loan, but it's a primary residence, you will actually get an exemption anyway. And as of right now, I believe it's $120,000. So if you are buying, just for simplicity, a home at $1 million, then you would have a $120,000 exemption. So your property tax bill would reflect $880,000, if that makes sense. So just making sure that I kind of give you a full rounded idea there. The per 100K, as I believe it's going to be like $450 per 100,000 on the property tax assessment. It's not really attached specifically to the loan, Carl, but it's a point. I suck at math. 0.045, if I'm not mistaken. The lowest in the country by percentage. All right. Next part, when using a VA loan to purchase a primary residence, how much lower is the interest rate compared to the conventional loan? As of late last week, early this week, it's right around 1% difference. Conventional loans are going mid upper sixes, and VA loans are running right around 6, high 5, 6%. I would defer that to Jody and the team at Pacific Rim Mortgage. She's unavailable at the moment. This is usually a time where we might bring her in to give some specifics, but give or take somewhere between 0.5% and 1% would be the difference. VA loans being lower than conventional right now. Okay. And those are for primary homes, not for second homes or investment loans. When purchasing a VA home and renovations are needed, do we have a list of contractors that have a valid VA ID builder list? Can you do some research? We don't really have a specific. Jody just came in, and she'll pop in a couple minutes. When purchasing a VA home that needs repairs, first way to answer that question, you really don't need a VA qualified builder for repairs. We just want to make sure that you have the general contractor or a trade specific person to help out with any of the repairs that are intricate in electrical or plumbing or foundation or roof, things like that. So part of that question is no, they don't need a VA ID builder ID. We do have a list. We definitely keep a Rolodex, if you will, for all types of trades for repairs, whether that be in escrow or after closing, and things that you want to do just to spruce it up, update it, renovate it. Okay. Would I be able to roll the cost of the renovation into my VA loan? No, as a general. There are what are called VA construction loans, but it's probably not applicable to the context of your group of questions. Okay, Carl. In essence, you would then be looking at like conditioned to repair or subject to repair. And that changes the whole format of the VA loan product itself. But we'll defer that over to Jody, and she can maybe dive into the weeds there and give you a little bit more detail. So we'll get Jody in the next few minutes, verify where we're at with rates now, see how close I am, see if I passed that pop quiz, and then we'll talk a little bit about construction within a VA loan and see if that's something that could be rolled into the loan itself. Okay. The fifth part of Carl's question is a little bit longer, so I'm going to read it out. Would I be able to do my own home renovations, i.e. painting, add tile, carpet, add, replace sheetrock, so forth, without getting a permit? You are correct. This next piece, I've read that doing renovations that cost more than $1,000 would require a permit. Understand doing framework additions, electrical, plumbing, things like that. Okay, so paraphrasing that, the book, the by the book answer is anything over $1,000 is supposed to be requested for a permit, approved, and then the work gets done. Quietly, that's not normal. Yes, if you're doing anything to move or add plumbing or electrical, if you're doing anything that has to do with structure, meaning taking a wall out, adding a wall in, doing structural beams because we want to open it up to open concept, things like that, for sure those major changes do require a permit, and it's best to have a general contractor come out at least to give you plans if you are very handy and want to do that kind of work yourself. There's no reason not to consider it, but it would definitely be good to have a GC in your corner, potentially at a minimum, just to at least help with those permits, right? So yes, you can do drywall. Yes, you can do floors. Yes, you can do cabinets. Yes, you can do countertops, paint, things like that. Just be mindful that there is a rule of $1,000, and I would just say that most people, as long as it's not structural or significant in plumbing and electrical and roof and foundation, you can kind of DIY most of that stuff, okay? And hopefully that is good to cover most of your questions, Carl. We will get Jody in the next few minutes to wrap around on rates and construction within or repairs within a VA loan. Elias, how's it? Hope the team is doing well. Questions I have, we are doing well. Thank you for asking. Some Big Island questions here. On the Big Island of Hawaii, why is the area of Pahoa cheaper compared to the rest of the island? I'll start by being humble and let you know that we are not Big Island experts. We are stationed and primarily work on Oahu, but I would give you factual general answers that our Pahoa is on a lesser developed side, the lower east side of the island. It's further away from major infrastructure like hospitals, banks, things like that, right? So just by area on the island, I think that's really going to be the main reason why. There could also be in detail some volcano flow areas that might potentially affect that a little bit. But for the most part, Pahoa, Hawaiian Paradise, Hawaiian beach parks, those are areas that are just a little bit further away from the big stuff in Kailua Kona and in Hilo. Hi, Jody.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going really well. Thank you for holding it down. So we are, hi Dash. We're just answering some quick questions about Big Island, then I'm going to bring you back in on a couple of VA loan questions.
Okay.
Is it true that the east side of the islands rain more and more than the west side, vice versa? It is not vice versa. The windward or east side of the islands do tend to be a little bit cooler, a little bit windier, and a little bit wetter. And that's really all islands. I don't think that has anything to do with Pahoa being cheaper than Kailua Kona. Hilo is on the windward side of the Big Island, and there's some really nice properties there. I think it is really just geographic location and proximity or lack of proximity to major infrastructure. All right. So we had kind of a big VA 5-part question, but I picked out a couple of things that I wanted to get your pick on, your pick your brain on. The current VA loan rates compared to conventional. I was pretty sure we're somewhere between like 0.5% and a point difference.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, I would say it's about generally 0.75.
Okay, cool. So I was right. Yay.
Yeah.
Passed my pop quiz.
Yep.
Where are we at today? Because it changes every day, right?
Today, VA rates are around 5.99%.
Okay.
and conventional 6.625,
Okay.
6.75.
All right.
Yeah.
Pat my back.
Yay.
Trying to keep up with the Joneses here. And then the second part to this question, we've talked a little bit about VA construction loans.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
your body language speaks more than your words.
Yeah.
This question is really about maybe finding a fixer, and can any of that renovation be rolled into a VA loan? My answer to that was generally no, but can you give us some detail?
Yeah, so on paper or in research on the VA website, it does refer to VA construction loans. And VA construction loans are something that the VA sees as a viable, realistic option, which would be something along the lines of the future value of the property. You know, you're buying it for $500, but the future value is $600, based on once all the repairs are made. So ideally, you could borrow $600,
Okay.
and then take that $100K and then use that for construction.
Got it.
Now the reality is that even though that's allowed according to the VA, that is the lenders make their own rules. So
Got it.
like they have to fall within the VA guides and what the VA will allow. So like let's say the VA was like, absolutely, we don't allow any VA construction, right? If the VA said that, then it's not like a lender would be like, we're creating a product
Right.
called the VA construction loan, because they can't, because then the VA won't guarantee their percent.
Got it.
But just because now the reverse doesn't exist. So just because the VA says it's a go, if you can't find a lender that's willing to do it, then it's not a go,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So
Case
right
by case.
now in Hawaii, we can't find anyone. And I'm talking retail, wholesale, direct mortgage banker, FDIC, regular old First Hawaiian Bank, Bank of Hawaii. Right. So I want to be able to at least refer to someone like, oh, we don't do VA constructions, but XYZ Mortgage does, right? We can't find anyone.
You've done the homework and can't find
For
anybody.
years.
And if Pat Grimm can't find them, I don't think anybody can.
Yeah. It's such a great product in theory, but we can't find anyone to do it.
Shucks.
Yeah.
Well, Carl, there's your answer. Thank you for that. And so let's go find you something that will pass a VA appraisal,
Right.
but that you can still force your equity into and kind of do it DIY, or just have some tradesmen do that outside of loan.
Right. Or the super risky would be to like get a hard money loan, buy a property, do all your upgrades, and then you're done. And now it's this beautiful property that is lendable, and then turn around and refinance that hard money loan utilizing your VA.
There you go.
So
So
that's-
refi back into a VA,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Got it. It's a nice little creative trick. I like that. Next question and final question for me. I've got to pop smoke. But from Matthew, thank you for the question. Curious if the market pricing is going down in Hawaii, maybe what areas are affected the most, and how y'all would handle the new commission change and for sellers and buyers. I'm going to do the second part first. We are handling it. We have a ton of work going on in the background to make sure that any of our clients are fully aware of what those changes look like. To be perfectly honest, there's just not much of a change. There's going to be a few tactical pieces of paperwork that are going to look a little different. Sellers have always been able to negotiate what their cooperative commission consideration is going to be through their listing agent and what that listing agreement looks like. Where the listing agent or the seller's agent will be able to market and convey that to any buyer's agents is changing. That part we know. Outside of that, generally speaking, nothing's going to change. It's some phone calls and some different communication, and there's a little bit of paperwork within a purchase contract and a cooperative broker's agreement and a listing agreement and a buyer's representation agreement. But the answer to the changes of commission for sellers and buyers is now everybody knows, because of the lawsuits, that sellers have always had the opportunity to decide how much they wanted to share from a listing agent's agreement with the seller and the seller's agent's brokerage. All right. Feel free to throw some more comments in. We can answer those offline and be more specific, but generally speaking, no change, just a little bit of paperwork stuff. As far as the Hawaii market, I'm going to give you my piece, and then I want Jody to kind of respond from a different perspective. Townhomes and condos are being affected right now. We've spoken on lives and in other videos with relationship to insurance and how things are changing pretty rapidly and pretty dramatically as it goes with insurance on condos and townhomes. So I think that you can easily say and see that there's a slowing of the condo townhome market here, and some price points are being affected negatively. So is it a good time to come in as a buyer by price point? Yeah, but we need to make sure that we're balancing that out, knowing that your maintenance fees, your insurance premiums are definitely the reason why that price point is there. Overall, I think that the market is pretty strong and pretty balanced, good activity, and we've got quite a few clients that are writing offers as we speak, and we think it is a good balanced market and a good time to purchase. We're not seeing an overly inflated amount of pricing on single-family homes, condos, townhomes, but we are still seeing a fair amount of competition and multiple offers going in on single-family homes in particular, certain condos and townhomes that are not affected yet or have weathered that storm and found their balance because they're solvent in their financial reserves and operating budget and stuff like that. What say you?
I would agree for the most part. I would definitely say that from just statistically speaking, looking back on our offers that have been submitted for our buyers, they all haven't been accepted,
right,
which means someone else got accepted. And they were solid offers. I think only 2 of them maybe were what I would consider a low ball, where it was like, come on, you don't have a shot at that. But all the rest of them were fair offers.
Right.
And so that's just indicative of a competing market.
Right.
And so I don't think that it's crazy going over asking appraisal clauses and all that stuff. But at the same time, all the buyers I'm talking to, I'm like, be prepared to compete. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna know if you're not gonna have to compete.
Right.
Because it's going to be, okay, multiple days on market.
Right.
It's going to be, I talked to the seller's agent. The seller's agent is, said, bring us an offer. Like, let us know what you got. So you're going to know. And I just got off the phone with one of our buyers, and he was like, I really need something upgraded. I need something like, I don't want to feel like I'm in the twilight zone going back to the 70s.
Right. Move in, turnkey.
Right.
Update.
And he said, but he wants, seller credits to help cover closing costs. So he said, generally speaking, like what part of the island or what type of property should he be looking for, And I said, well, an older property that isn't upgraded.
Right.
So
those two things don't necessarily line up.
Yeah.
But you might have to be picky and choosy about location to try to make that happen. Maybe find homes. I would use maybe Avakapale as an example of a home that was just built more recently that might not need to be updated, where seller credit could be available. Just as an idea, as an example.
Yeah.
How are applications? What's the rate of entry for people coming in? Is that
last week was slow. The week before that was solid. This week's solid.
Okay.
We're still having our ups and lulls, and I know a lot of I've spoken to other colleagues, and they're a little slower.
okay?
So I would say that now's the time for a buyer,
Right.
because and it's so hard to even think that this is feasible. But when rates go down, and we've said it, I've said it hundreds of times, Derek O has said it, you've said it, we've all said it. But once rates go down, the market's going to get even more competitive. So it's like this is an example of a softer market.
Right. Competitively, it's softer.
Statistically speaking.
Correct.
Number of
That's
buyers.
why I asked that question, yeah.
Number of buyers.
Yeah.
Number of applications. Number of offers. Right?
Yeah.
So, and you're still competing.
You are, yeah. I mean, such as Hawaii, and I kind of hate to say that, but it is just the inventory is always going to be low. The demand is always going to be higher than not anywhere else, but in most cases, right? And so the challenge question is this: would you rather be in a market that's balanced now and purchasing a home at list price, or maybe just competing a little bit with a little bit higher rate, or wait, let rates go down a little bit so that your buying power goes up? And we completely understand and recognize the decision-making process there between the two things. But your overall scenario probably doesn't change, because if rates go down 0.5%, prices go up 1% or 2%, and there is an almost immediate reaction. I think when rates go down and buyers start to come back up off the sideline, sellers recognize that and prices change, or at least by competition and more multiple offers, then there's a bidding war that brings it up, right? Which would make you feel better at the end of the day? Buying a home now, refining it later, or waiting until the rates are right so that your buying power gives you more confidence and paying a higher price, and your mortgage payment monthly ends up kind of being the same either way?
Yeah.
Where do you fall in that category? We're here for you. Again, we want you to go down to the bottom of the page, fill out the Let's Talk contact info form. Let us connect you with Jody and the team here at Pacific Rim if there's more financial questions that can be answered to really get through that challenge question with an informed decision. And we appreciate your time today. And I've got a roll. Do we have any other questions or anything, Ken? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand the question over, because it can be answered. Sorry. To really get. Let's see. Timekeeper Mahalo for the question, directing it to Kenny. Hey guys, if we're buying on Oahu, what's the more affordable areas to consider? I would say bang for buck, Ewa, Kapolei, and then maybe Makakilo, Waipio, sort of staying adjacent to but not right in Mililani would be Waipio if you want to be central. Kaneohe if you like the windward side but can't get into the Kailua market. And Ewa, Kapolei, you've got just newer construction, more square footage in the home for a price similar to something smaller and older on the windward side, or in Mililani is kind of an in-between, a little bit more aged but still master planned, newer built 80s, 90s versus 2000s down in Ewa Kapolei. So that's a very general, quick answer. Kenj, I'm not seeing which question we want to direct for Jody. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we've gotten through all the answers for the day then, and I've got to go. Thank you, guys.